Imagine walking into your bedroom, the place where you share your life with your spouse, and finding your wife with your brother in the most intimate way. How would you handle a betrayal so awful it breaks everything you thought was true? Marcus Thompson was a man who seemed to have it all: a loving wife, 4 great kids, and a job as a sheriff that made him a hero in his town. He protected people when they were scared or in trouble. But what happens when the protector gets hurt? What happens when the people he trusts most turn against him? One normal day, Marcus's world fell apart. A terrible truth came out, ripping away everything he believed about love and loyalty. The happy, quiet home he made for his family turned into the scene of a disaster no one saw coming. This is a story about a betrayal so personal and painful that it ended in heartbreak, violence, and the ruin of a whole family. Welcome to True Crime Intel. I'm Williams, and I want to thank you, my viewers, and especially my subscribers, for your amazing support as we keep improving and bringing you daily true crime stories, both told and untold. If you haven't already, please subscribe and join our community. Let's uncover the stories together. Marcus Thompson was a good man. At 44, he was a sheriff who cared deeply about fairness and his family. People in his community looked up to him for being honest and calm. He was proud of the life he'd built. At the heart of it was Linda, his wife of 15 years and the mother of his 4 kids. They met when Marcus was a young deputy, wanting to help the world, and Linda was helping out at a town event. She was full of life, with a smile that could brighten anyone's day. Marcus, usually quiet and serious, couldn't resist her warmth. Linda, 39, grew up in the same city as Marcus, but they didn't know each other until that day. At least, that's what Marcus thought. The truth was, Linda had a past with someone close to him, his younger brother, Jason. Jason Thompson, 41, was very different from Marcus. While Marcus was steady and hard-working, Jason was wild, funny, and free. People loved Jason's charm. He could make anyone laugh and get out of trouble with a smile. But deep down, he felt like he was never as good as Marcus. While Marcus had a strong career and a family, Jason's life was messy. Failed relationships, random jobs, and a search for something he couldn't find. Linda knew Jason long before she met Marcus. They went to the same high school, though they didn't hang out much. Linda was shy and focused on school, while Jason was popular and bold. She secretly liked him back then, even though he didn't notice her. Years later, when Marcus brought Linda home to meet his family, she was stunned to see Jason was his brother. Marcus didn't notice the look in her eyes or the sly grin on Jason's face. To Marcus, family was everything. Bringing Linda into his life was his way of building a future. Jason acted like a good brother, welcoming her warmly. Linda and Jason clicked right away, but they hid it from Marcus. Their old high school connection became a secret they shared. It started small, little talks about the past that Marcus didn't suspect. The affair didn't happen right away, but the seeds were planted early. Jason visited a lot, making everyone laugh and feel at ease. Linda, feeling lonely because Marcus was so busy with work, liked Jason's attention. He saw things Marcus missed, like how she fixed her hair or how tired she looked. To her, it felt like someone cared again. The first step into betrayal happened a year after Marcus and Linda got married. Jason came over to fix something at the house while Marcus worked late. They laughed and talked about old times. When Jason's hand touched hers, she didn't pull away. It was quick, but it started something they couldn't stop. For Jason, it was about wanting what Marcus had: his success, his life. Sleeping with Linda felt like winning something. For Linda, it filled an emptiness she blamed on Marcus, even though she felt guilty sometimes. Their secret grew, sneaking into family visits and quiet moments. It overlapped with the early years of Marcus and Linda's marriage, when 3 of their 4 kids were born. Marcus worked hard to take care of his growing family, never suspecting what was happening. He loved his kids. Ethan, the responsible oldest, Noah, the fun one, Liam, the quiet thinker, and Olivia, the little girl who brought joy to everyone. To Marcus, his family was his rock. He didn't know it was all built on a lie that would one day destroy everything. The affair between Linda and Jason started as a spark from their high school days, but it soon turned into something wild and dangerous. At first, it was small things, long looks, a quick touch when no one saw, and chats about old times that felt exciting. What began as memories turned into a messy web of wanting each other and lying. They didn't plan for it to go so far, but it did. The first time they went too far, it felt thrilling, like something they couldn't stop. Jason had come over to help Linda with a house fix while Marcus was stuck at work. Something that happened a lot because of his sheriff job. They laughed about high school, and then Jason kissed her in the hallway. Linda didn't say no. That kiss started years of secret meetups and hidden betrayals. They got good at keeping it quiet. At family parties, they'd whisper or touch when no one was looking. Jason would watch the kids while Linda ran errands, giving them time alone. Their shared past made it easy to hide. Marcus never thought it was weird for his wife and brother to get along. Jason felt bad sometimes. He knew it was wrong, especially because it was Marcus's wife. But every time he tried to stop, Linda pulled him back with her attention and touch. It made him feel important, something he never got on his own. Linda was torn too. She loved her family and cared for Marcus, but Jason made her feel alive again. She told herself Marcus didn't see her anymore, not like Jason did. One thing that kept Jason hooked was how Linda made him feel special, especially when they were alone together. She knew how to keep him wanting more, and he couldn't say no. Their affair wasn't just about feelings. It was risky and wrong, and that made it stronger. Linda gave Jason just enough to keep him close, without asking for too much back. He hated how weak he felt, but he couldn't let her go. They got smart about hiding it. Every kiss or quiet word felt bigger, because they could get caught. They made up ways to talk without anyone knowing. Jason sent normal texts about family stuff that really meant something else. Linda planned errands near Jason's place so they could meet. Even in Marcus's house, they found ways to be sneaky, using family time as a cover. For years, they kept it secret. To Marcus, Linda and Jason just seemed close, like family should be. He was too busy working and trusting them to see what was really happening. But secrets don't stay hidden forever. The deeper Linda and Jason got, the more dangerous it became. Every moment they stole could ruin everything, and the guilt they pushed down warned of trouble ahead. Marcus didn't know a thing. He loved his kids and thought his family was perfect. Ethan, Noah, Liam, and Olivia were his world, keeping him steady through his tough job. Then one day, Linda said something small that changed it all. She mentioned how Noah's smile looked like Jason. It sounded harmless, but it stuck with Marcus. He tried to ignore it, but it wouldn't go away. Doubts started creeping in, quiet at first, then louder. Marcus couldn't shake the feeling. He decided to find out the truth, but he had to be careful. He didn't want Linda to know he was suspicious. For days, he looked up how to do a DNA test without anyone finding out. His hands shook as he ordered a kit online, sending it to a different address. When it came, he hid it in his car, waiting for the right time. One night, while Linda was in the shower and the kids slept, he moved fast. He took a pencil Ethan had chewed on, a straw Noah used, a sock from Liam's laundry, and a hair from Olivia's brush. He whispered sorry to himself, feeling sick about it. Then, alone in his car, he swabbed his own cheek, sealed it all up, and mailed it off the next day. As he waited for the results, Marcus felt worse. He watched Linda and Jason closer, noticing every look and laugh. He couldn't stop picturing them together. When the envelope came, he opened it with shaky hands. The words hit him hard. Ethan, Noah, and Liam weren't his. Only Olivia was. The paper dropped as his world crashed. Anger, pain, and betrayal mixed together. He couldn't think straight. All he knew was he needed answers. Right now. When Marcus saw the DNA results, a fire he'd never felt before took over. The family he'd given everything for, the kids he loved with all his heart, weren't fully his. The proof of betrayal stared at him from the paper, and he couldn't hold it in. He grabbed the results, jumped in his car, and drove home fast. His mind was a mess, full of anger and questions. He didn't stop to plan or calm down. He just needed to face it. Marcus stormed into the house, yelling for Linda. His voice boomed, but no one answered. The quiet made him nervous. He ran up the stairs, heart pounding, and stopped dead at their bedroom door. There they were, Linda and Jason, together on the bed they'd shared for years. The betrayal he'd just read about was now right in front of him, real and unbearable. Linda's face went white when she saw him. Jason tried to talk, smooth as always, but Marcus didn't let him. Rage took over. He pulled out his sheriff's gun, the one he carried to protect others. Years of lies, the kids, everything. It all hit him at once. He didn't think. He shot Jason in the chest, ending his brother's smug grin. Linda screamed, hands up like she could stop it, but a second shot silenced her too. She fell next to Jason, lifeless. The room went still, except for Marcus's heavy breathing. He stood over them, gun shaking in his hand. The anger faded, and the truth of what he'd done sank in like a heavy weight. But right then, all he felt was the pain of a life torn apart. The shots rang through the house, loud and sharp. The kids, in their rooms, froze. Ethan, the oldest at 14, reacted first. He ran toward the sound, yelling, "Mom! Dad!" Noah and Liam followed, scared and pale. Little Olivia, only 5, sat on her bed, hugging her bear, too young to understand, but knowing something was wrong. Ethan raced to the bedroom, but Noah grabbed him, begging, "Don't go!" Ethan pushed past, desperate to know. Liam stayed back, shaking, while Olivia started to cry. Inside, Marcus dropped his gun. It hit the floor with a thud. He heard the kids' cries and snapped out of it. He couldn't let them see this. He stepped into the hall and shut the door, hands trembling. Ethan stopped, staring at his dad's wild eyes. "Dad, what happened?" he asked, voice breaking. Marcus couldn't look at him. "Go to your room," he said low and rough. "Take your brothers and sister, now." Ethan froze, scared by his tone. "Go!" Marcus shouted, and the kids ran, huddling in Ethan's room, crying together. Marcus walked downstairs slowly, like he was in a daze. He sank onto the couch and pulled out his phone. His hands shook so bad he could barely dial 911. When the operator answered, calm and steady, Marcus's voice was empty. "It's me, Marcus. I just killed my wife and my brother. I'm sorry. Send the police." The operator asked questions. Was he armed? Was anyone else hurt? But Marcus hung up. He sat there, head in his hands, as sirens started in the distance, getting louder every second. When the police got there, Marcus didn't fight. He walked to the door as they came up, guns ready. "I'm unarmed," he said, hands up, voice flat and eyes blank. They cuffed him and took him away. As they led him to the car, he looked up and saw Ethan at the window, watching quietly, face pressed to the glass. The police didn't need long to figure it out. The gun on the floor, the bodies, Marcus's call, it was clear. They didn't make the kids talk much, but the damage was done. Hearing the shots, seeing their dad like that, being in a house turned violent, it hurt them deep. Marcus faced big charges, 2 murders and 4 counts of child abuse. The law said he'd hurt his kids' hearts and minds by doing this where they could hear and feel it. He'd ignored their safety, and now Ethan, Noah, Liam, and Olivia would carry that night forever. Marcus didn't argue. The trial came fast, and everyone watched. The prosecution said he let anger and jealousy take over, turning pain into planned violence. They pointed to his sheriff job. Someone trained to stay calm shouldn't have done this. The defense said he was broken by betrayal, that it wasn't planned, just a moment of madness. But Marcus didn't care. He knew he was guilty. He took the blame without a fight. The courtroom buzzed, but he stayed quiet, lost in the ruin of his family and the life he'd lost. Marcus faced serious charges: 2 counts of first-degree murder for killing Linda and Jason, and 4 counts of child abuse for the harm he caused his kids. The prosecution said he let anger and jealousy take over, turning a personal hurt into a violent act that broke his family apart. They pointed out he was a sheriff, trained to handle tough situations, which made what he did even worse. The defense argued he was a man pushed too far, that the betrayal snapped him in a moment of rage, not a planned attack. But Marcus didn't fight back. He knew he'd done wrong and accepted the blame quietly. The trial got a lot of attention. People couldn't stop talking about it, but Marcus stayed calm and silent through it all. The legal stuff didn't matter to him as much as losing his family. The life and trust he'd built, now gone. He was found guilty on all charges, 2 murders and 4 counts of child abuse. The judge gave him life in prison with no chance of ever getting out. In court, the judge spoke firmly but sadly. "You suffered a terrible betrayal, but the law can't forgive what you chose to do. You took 2 lives and broke your kids and your town." As Marcus was taken away in handcuffs, he thought of his children. He knew they'd carry this forever. His only hope, small as it was that someday they might forgive him, even though he couldn't forgive himself. This story shows how betrayal can destroy everything. What started with love and trust turned into pain, violence, and a tragedy no one could fix. It makes you wonder, could being honest have stopped this? Or was the betrayal so big, so tangled in their lives, that it was always going to end badly? Marcus Thompson was a respected sheriff, a dad, a man who loved his family. But when the truth came out, he did something unthinkable. Was it a split second of fury? Or did years of lies build up until he couldn't take it anymore? What do you think? Was Marcus a victim of his feelings, crushed by a betrayal too big to handle? Or was it all his fault? And how much blame do Linda and Jason carry for hiding their secret, knowing it could ruin everything? If this story shook you, please like this video and subscribe to True Crime Intel. We'll bring you more stories that dig into the darkest parts of relationships and show what happens when secrets, lies, and betrayal take over. Until next time, stay safe out there.